everybody. How are y'all doing? We got a special guest today. My good friend Kelly Lunt is visiting Las Vegas and stopped in for a little visit. And I figured that we would get on here and have a little chat about manifestation and healing. She has what I consider to be a very interesting approach in the process of manifestation and healing. Because as many of you have heard me say, they are both able to go hand in hand. They don't necessarily have to, but I personally feel like the healing journey and the manifestation journey, if you leave healing out of the picture, then the manifestation journey is, I mean, it's only like, what would you say? It's like half the battle.
Yeah, I guess like how I like to word it is that if you just focus on manifesting, then you're always manifesting like one hits, like a one hit wonder. Versus if you do the healing journey, then it becomes like a default in your life.
Yeah.
Did that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's run through the thing that you usually talk about with I, me, they, and this and that. How does that go again?
Oh, that's what I like to call boundaries. And that's there's four parts of boundaries. Me, you, we, they. So there's me, right? I exist. Then there's you, the other person in the situation. And then there's we, like right now, this is a we experience with he and I. Like you guys are part of that. So we would all be a we experience. They is like people outside of the we experience. So like the people in the other houses, the people who aren't watching this video. So if you take the time to manifest a boyfriend, focus on the manifesting without the healing, you can get a boyfriend. But if you don't have like the healing of a self-concept of me, I exist, you're a codependent and you're manifesting in a narcissistic boyfriend. So yes, you can manifest. It is, you didn't say, you said half the battle, right?
I mean, I'm just kind of speculating,
you can't quite word it. Yeah. So it is kind of like half the battle. You get the boyfriend in, but then are you necessarily happy? No, that's when you got to go on the healing journey and develop that self-concept of me. I exist. I'm significant. I'm important. I belong. Because then you can have that reciprocal love that where you both are like adding to each other's lives.
Yeah, and I remember when we were doing that call last year, you were talking about how if you haven't developed that sense of me, like it was really cool and really profound. And I'm trying to remember how it goes, that if you haven't developed that sense of me, or you haven't developed a sense of they, how does that affect your path?
Oh, so if you don't have a developed self-concept of me, I exist, you're a codependent, you're manifesting a narcissist, you don't think you exist, you're not going to think you're worthy of receiving large amounts of money, you're going to walk around just feeling like worthless, like I don't exist. And that's when it feels like people are walking all over you. That's when it feels like you're like sitting there at work and you're like, I need a pay raise, I need a pay raise. Why won't they give me a pay raise? No, it's once you have the self-concept of me, you're like, no, this is how much money I need in my life to survive. Are you going to be the employer paying me that much or not? If you're not, then I'm going to be a vibrational match for the person who will.
Yeah.
If you don't have a developed self-concept of you, that's when you tend to be the narcissist. So you tend to be the person who, if you come up with an idea and you're like, wait, this is great, and then other people around you are saying, no, it's not, but you're so convinced it is, and you're always trying to convince people to do what you want, you just don't have a fully formed self-concept of you, that the other person exists, and where two people can have a completely different experience of the exact same thing. Like if you use us an example, like this isn't true, this is example's sake right now, guys. He might go off and go, wow, that was so fun, and I might have the experience of, oh, I was having like stage fright. The person who doesn't have a self-concept of you would go, what, are you kidding? That was so fun, Callie. Like you're negating that the other person might have a completely different experience.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to be a we, like this is a we, guys. Here's person A, me, person B, you. Everyone can have their own sense of autonomy. They can go do their own thing, me time, but you can still come together in a helpful way where everyone's coming through together. If you don't have a formed me, you're like this, and every time you get in a relationship, it feels like this. It feels smothering. It feels like they don't hear you. If you don't have the you, then you're the person doing this. And the last one, if you don't have a self-formed self-concept of they, then that's when you're that people pleaser. That's when you feel guilty for saying no. That's when you're like, oh, I have to give this person the shirt off my back. you just like completely overgive because you don't realize that they're outside of your circle and you're taking responsibility for people who aren't even in your sphere of influence.
Yeah, and that, like, that, the way that that ties in and becomes part of the manifestation journey is, the way I see it, the majority of the manifestation journey is a complete rewiring of your perception, you know? So whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, you have to think, what is it that I'm really looking for? And how do I rewire my perception to align with that frequency? So that's why, like, and you know, I was telling a client, because you mentioned just a second ago, are you the employer that's going to be paying me, or is it going to be this employer? Because I was telling a client earlier today during a reading that, like, say for example, you're at your job and you're wanting to manifest more money. Well, a lot of people, this individual was basically like asking me how to use the law of attraction, was looking for a promotion, and I was like, well, here's the thing. Like, let's say you, like, the job that you work is, that is a reflection of the frequency you're on. So when you get to work, rewiring your perception to be on a different frequency of money, when you change frequencies, it's just like a radio. When you're changing frequencies and you're starting to tune into a different reality, anything that's a part of your life is going to start getting staticky. You know, anything that is not changing to the new frequency with you will be pulled away from you. So a lot of people, they get on the manifestation journey and then bad things start to happen and they freak out. And they're like, oh my God, why is this happening? I'm like, that's the frequency change, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of people, they'll be like, okay, well, I want to manifest more money. And then they get in, they start doing it. And then all of a sudden they lose their job and they think, oh man, it didn't work. No, it's working. It's working. It's just, you made such a vast frequency change that the universe said, okay, that job is not on the frequency that you're moving to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Sorry, did you remember what you wanted to say? Or?
No.
Oh, that's what, like, the half the battle thing. Are you going to always continuously have to hyper focus and manifest that, like, just a number 30,000 every month, or are you going to go through the rewiring to become the new person where that's your default expectation? And sometimes when people are manifesting money, they don't realize that it's not actually just about money, that sometimes you have to go through a different way of how you view yourself. You have to go through a different way of how you view the world. Because people, if you guys are in a spot where you're literally going, man, bro, like, work was so tough today, my boss was holding me down, and then, you know, Rich was saying back that, yeah, man, I know my boss cut my hours like 4 hours. You guys are commiserating over misery. You guys are commiserating over, look how hard I have it. You're sending off the frequency of, look how hard I have it. The boss is always trying to hold me down, right? So if you're going to be a person who focuses on the money, you're also going to go through I'm valuable. I am valuable. I exist. And you're going to step into feeling more empowered. You're going to leave that disempowered of it's up to the boss. So as you go through, like, here was your friend. If you go through that change, you guys aren't going to be able to talk. He's going to be like, what are you doing buying that new car? Like, aren't you struggling to pay rent the way isn't life the struggle? So you do have to go through like a friendship reshuffle. Yeah. You have to get used to being like, and like a lot of times money, guys, if you're going past making abundant, if you want to go to like the big money, you have to become comfortable with power, because money, like, flat out is power.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, well, and that kind of ties in too with limiting beliefs. I know that's kind of like a buzzword on, you know, in the manifestation, limiting beliefs. But, like, I think a lot of the people that I talk to and I coach, they don't realize how deep you have to dig inside yourself, you know? Like, yeah, like, well, you know, there's a lot of people who, like, one of the biggest signs of the failures mentality, or of a broke person's mentality, is they believe that people with money are bad people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what you always hear.
You cannot think people with money are evil and then get money yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and also too, I think, like, a side effect of believing that people with money are bad people, what comes along with that is, I can't accept that. I'm not good enough for that. That would make me a bad person. That's a limiting belief. It's like, the way when and this was, I don't know if I've ever told you this one either, but when I was attending Mind Mastery School to learn how to manifest abundance, this was one of the examples that the instructor gave us. when you're playing Monopoly, well, wait a minute. He said it like this: Monopoly money is only worthless when you're not playing Monopoly.
Oh.
When you're playing Monopoly, fights break out between family members because your perception is what gives it its value. You know? So
Yeah.
you're creating the value of it with your perception. All you have to do is pull yourself away and say, I don't need that. You know, to elevate yourself onto the frequency of realizing that all the beliefs that go behind money are completely constructed. And
Yeah.
and once
That's a good analogy.
I think that was probably because I struggled with it, you know. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh,
Money is a
okay.
game.
So all I have to do is rewire my brain to just look at money as nothing but worthless paper, because that's what it is. That's all it is. Your perception is what gives it its value.
Yeah,
You know?
because money is not a real thing, guys. Money is, there's person A, there's person B. Person B has a trade because, right, it used to be just like a trading kind of economy. He had pencils, I had hair clips. I want one, I want one. What happens when I want another pencil, but he doesn't want another hair clip? That's when it goes, one of us gives the other person a third object. It's just money is just an object. And he can go spend that money on something else when I get the other pencil I want. It like, money is not a real thing. And when you guys realize that,
Yeah, that's really hard for a lot of people to wrap their mind around. But I personally feel like when it comes to the manifestation or the healing journey or whatever you want to, phrase it as, money is like the most kindergarten baby level of the manifestation journey. Because once you figure out how that works, and once you can unwire your beliefs and your perceptions about money, then it's like, oh my God, this whole fucking life is a game.
dude, that's a fair, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Money is probably easier than like love or like.
Oh yeah, see, because with love, see, money is just money. It's just one thing, and it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care who has it. It's just one thing. With love, on the other hand, though, you're dealing with another person who has their own free will. They have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you have to learn skills to maintain it.
Yeah.
Wait, someone just wrote a comment of tell my landlord and someone else and my bills that money isn't real. So guys,
That right there is a perfect example of a limiting belief, Like, oh no, my landlord and this and that. No. Go ahead, say what you were gonna say.
Okay, it's just like you're tensed up. You're like, I gotta pay rent.
Yep.
When you're tensed up, the vibe you're at is the vibe that you're going to attract money in at. So that means anything you do to earn money to allow it into your life, you're gonna feel tense. So that's when you get those job opportunities where like the boss is like, you didn't do a good job. So instead, it's reckoning like money is not real. Money is just an object that's representing a value exchange. The thing that has the value, right? Like when you guys buy reads from Rich, it's not here, I'm giving you this valuable thing. It's, I see the value of your tarot reads and the change it produces in my life, so I will give you this money. So you're valuing his tarot read, not the money.
And the money exchange, it's subconsciously, people don't realize this, but subconsciously, when you pay money, you are paying your energy without realizing it. So, like, you could take a video, you know what I'm saying? You could take a pre-recorded video with a piece of advice. And if that video was given to you for free, you wouldn't pay very much, energy to it. But if you pay money, that's you giving your energy to it and giving it its value. And another thing that my mind mastery teacher would say all the time is that if you're always looking for things for free, you will always end up with things worth nothing. Because your perception is what gives it its value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I know at least one person needs to hear that. And I didn't understand it either when I first got on the path. I asked him, I said, how am I supposed to stop worrying about money? I'm broke. And they said, you don't worry about money because you're broke. You're broke because you always worry about money. And
it's been a while since I've been in that mindset. How do we help people get out of that?
Well, at the end of the day, helping people get out of that mindset is like explaining to a fish what water is.
Sure. Okay, wait, I think I got an analogy. You can't be in fear and appreciation at the same time. You can't be in worry about money and appreciation money for the same time. So if you are like worried or fearful around money or around love, can you flip to the other side and then just be you're not going to be able to be happy, joy around money if you're worried and broke. It will be, I find it satisfying that I was able to pay my rent last month. It was very satisfying to put a roof over my head. It was satisfying to be living under a roof. It was satisfying to be living in, it was in America, it was satisfying to have running water. It was satisfying. So even if you can't go high vibe, like I love money, it buys me dinners out, at least I'm satisfied that I was able to buy that meal. I'm satisfied knowing that I have ample opportunity to still go get more money in my life.
Yeah.
I hope that breaks it down
Yeah,
a little bit more.
And I was explaining to a client yesterday or the day before that the number is just an illusion. Let's say, for example, you have a job making $500 a week, okay? And that's your baseline, $500 a week. And you miss one day of work, so your check is only $400. And you're like, oh my God, oh, how am I gonna pay my bills? You know?
Yes.
Well, let's take you on that frequency and pick you up and put you over here with a job making $5,000 a week. And that's your baseline. And you miss one day of work. So your check is only going to be $4,000. It's going to feel the same. You're going to be like, oh my God, oh my God. And it doesn't feel any better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It like, no matter how much you make, it's not going to change anything.
That goes back to what you first said, I think, about the manifesting versus manifesting, healing, rewiring. If you don't do the rewiring to have the better feeling relationship with money, even if your income goes up, your spending is going to go up and you're still going to have the same relationship with money. Because I always used to be like 3 days late on rent. And then it was once I got to the point where I upped my frequency to always be on time with rent, then I was always last minute being able to pay rent. But to now go from that to like now having like a year's like emergency saving or investment, whatever word you guys want to use for it. Like that requires a different thinking. That's like a self-concept of me. Like I am worthy of, if I miss a day of work, I don't have to stress. I am worthy of feeling safe. I am worthy of feeling secure. I am worthy.
Yeah.
You know what I did when I first started doing like YouTube and the self-employed thing? It's always, what do you want and how do you want to feel when it comes in?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, if I had like 20 people buying tarot reads from me, that would be enough money for rent, for all my bills. I would feel safe. I would feel secure. It would feel like stability. And I went, okay, how do I already have that in my life? And I went, well, my floor is stable. My floor is stable. And I pointed my focus on like, my floor is very stable. If I stand here, it's going to hold me up. If I move a foot over, and I literally, guys, moved over and went, this is a stable floor. It's always going to be there. I could lay on it and it'll be stable. And I would hold that frequency of stability, of safety, like the rain's coming down, but I'm protected from the rain. I would hold that for like a good 30 minutes before I even went live. Because I didn't want to go live when I was in the, oh my God, am I going to be able to pay rent? I wanted to like, that should.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. And another thing that I tell people a lot is it's not actually money that we're looking for. That's not what it is. What we're looking for is a feeling. The feeling of freedom. The feeling of not needing to stress and worry about money. That's what we're looking for. But we've been programmed and manipulated into believing that we have to get the money first, and that will create the feeling. And that's not the way this matrix is set up to run and operate. The reality of the way that it works is the money that you make now is a reflection of your relationship with money. Like, look at these people who win the lottery. You know what I mean? Bankrupt within 5 years.
They didn't do the rewiring that he's talking about.
They slipped into that zero gravity state at the right moment and busted the floodgates open, but they didn't rewire their paradigm to actually, keep that flowing that way. So yeah, it's a feeling that we're looking for. Okay, the money in your bank right now is a reflection of how you feel about money. So when you, like, say for example, you're going to the grocery store and you got to get eggs, cheese, milk, and bread. And you're like, oh my God, should I get this bread or this bread? Because it's $1 cheaper. You're blasting this frequency that says, I can't afford that. And the universe goes, oh, okay. That's right. Your wish is my command. You can't afford that. So what it is that I'm looking for is to not need to worry about the price tag. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for whenever I need gas, I just pull up to a random gas station, swipe my card, put the pump in the tank till it clicks and then roll off and not even need to worry about it. That's what I'm looking for. So I don't get the money first and then stop worrying about money. That's not the way that it works. I have to rewire my brain to stop worrying about money first.
Yeah, one way to do that is, I love that analogy. When you're at the grocery store, and if you guys do get that, oh my God, I have to spend this money on the groceries, he already explained it. You want to flip it to, are you going to think about fear or appreciation, worry or appreciation? You can't think about both at the same time. So instead of, you have to practice the new vibe before it will come in. So it has to be, okay, I do, like, we're not saying ignore your emotions. It's, I do feel a little worried. This is a lot of money and I don't have enough money to pay my rent. Like, that is the situation I'm in, and that's okay. What I do like about this purchase is that this food is going to feed me tonight. This food is going to feed my baby. This food, like, I'm so happy that I have this right now to be able to buy this food. Do you guys, that's a total different vibe you're giving off. And it does take more deliberate refocusing.
Yeah.
And if when you're in a situation you don't like, it does have to be a, oh, I went to my old pattern, but now let's start practicing the new one, which is, I'm happy I got to buy that milk. I'm happy, and his it, which bread to buy. If you're in a situation where you have to buy the cheaper one, go, okay, this is where I'm at right now. This is just my starting point.
Yes.
I know that soon I would like freedom to buy gas where I want to buy it, the groceries I want. So what does freedom give you? It gives you choice. It gives you choice, and it gives you autonomy. So how do you have right here, right now, how do you have choice in your life? If you bring your focus on that emotion, that feeling of choice, and what I did, I don't know, it's embarrassing to tell these old stories. I would always go, all right, I'm a broke joke right now. I have no idea how to run a business, but money would give me stability. I told you guys that story, the stability, the safety. I'd lay on my floor and go, this is stable. I do like it. Of course I want money to pay my rent. It would feel so good to know that I have this place to live another month. And then for the choice, I would put water in a cup. I'd pull out orange juice, apple juice, and like a soda. And I'd go, okay, which one do I want to drink for my morning breakfast? And I practice the vibe of I get to make choices. And it could be ice water, heated up water. It can be free shit that you just practice the vibe of choice. Then by default, you have that rewiring for, I'm a person who has choice in my life. That will get more money in.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I mean, that's not the approach that I took. The approach that I took was, I want to get on the frequency of not needing to worry about money. So I got to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to train myself deliberately to just look at the list and not thinking about it, not worrying about it, thinking about everything else, thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow, thinking about what happened last week. I don't even see the price tag, keeping myself distracted. And I did that for, that took me about a year to get to the point to where, like, I realized one day, my gas light came on, and gas used to be my biggest pet peeve. I'd be like, oh my God, gas, gotta get the cheapest gas. I gotta buy a car with the smallest little chainsaw engine in it so I can save money on gas. And then I remember this one day where my gas light came on, and I went, oh shit, I gotta get gas. So I rolled into the gas station, swiped my card, put the pump in the tank. It clicked, I shook it, hung it up, took off. I was about a half mile down the road when I went, whoa. I don't even know how much gas was back there. I have no idea how much money I just spent filling up my tank. It never even crossed my mind. Whoa, it worked, dude.
Nice.
Like, just a couple of years ago, that would have been driving me crazy. I would have been like, oh my God, it cost this much, and now I only have this much, and I don't have enough for this, and blah, 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 blah. And I rewired my brain to not think that way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It makes, I see, like, it makes sense. But this is a good point, guys. Look we took two different approaches to manifesting money, because manifesting is a very individual journey. The two same people can want money. And I, for one, obviously needed a feeling of safety, needed a feeling of stability, needed a feeling of choice. Those are the emotions and the vibes that I had to work on for it to come in. What would you call yours? Like, it sounds like yours was just being able to be like happy and carefree.
Yeah.
And like when you're at that's what it sounded like to me. It was like, I want to be carefree. I just want to be able to live my life and like be able to think about the next fun thing I want to do. That's what
Yeah, I didn't, because I've been homeless lived under bridges, eating out of trash cans, worked minimum wage jobs, and I'm constantly worried about, oh my God, I only have a couple dollars left. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I want to be able to just live my life without even having to think about that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so that's why I was like, so what would it feel like to be a 6-figure a year earner? What would that feel like? I would imagine that it would feel like just living my life and not worrying about it. So
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
so and I'm making minimum wage at the time, and I go to the grocery store, and I'd spend however much it was, and I'd be like, I'll get it back. I'll get it back one of these days. I'll make it back. I'm not worried about it. I don't need it. Universe got my back, And like when I was building businesses, like I would build a business and I would spend thousands of dollars that I could barely afford to spend making minimum wage, running Google ads and building websites and all this stuff. And then it would crash and burn. And I'd be like, universe got me. One of these days, I'm going to be able to wipe my ass with the money that I just lost there. And, I don't need it. And yeah, it's like a complete and total rewiring. And that's where I think the healing comes in too. Because check this out. This is one thing a lot of people don't think about. If you have, say, childhood trauma or, whatever the case may be, and you figure out how to get on that frequency of attracting money, what money can do is it can feed your demons,
Okay.
Oh yeah. A lot of people, like say an alcoholic or a drug addict, for example,
Okay.
they're
Oh.
that, like those people are usually like, oh my God, I'm just an alcoholic because I'm stressed out all the time and I'm this and that. No, because I guarantee you, if you don't battle that alcohol demon and you start manifesting $300,000 a year, that's going to feed that alcohol demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna pivot, guys. And did you have more you wanted to say on that?
No, that's cool.
Because he brought up a childhood trauma manifesting. So there's different trauma. I'm a total nerd on this stuff. there's mom trauma and there's dad trauma. It kind of depends which parent was either abusing you, which parent was neglecting you. So when you have like a healthy father figure in your life, you have a sense of built-in safety. Because what do dads normally do? They normally provide a lot of the protection and the safety. So if you had someone providing that for you when you were younger, you grew up with the default vibe emitting out of you of I am safe. If you didn't have that dad doing that, there was a lot of like, I feel insecure, I'm not safe. So sometimes you'll feel like, oh, if I get this money, it will just get taken away. If I get this money, this bad thing will happen. So sense of safety. Do you feel safe having a lot of money? If you have mom trauma, it's worthiness. Manifestations typically boil down to, if you're not getting it in, you either don't feel worthy about it or you don't feel safe having it. Yeah, I learned that one like a year ago.
Oh, wow.
And so one example I could give you guys, I had that like, man, I'm so afraid of getting over like 6 figures because then my family's going to come after me. They're going to ask me for my money and I won't be able to say no. I didn't have the self-concept of me. And I had this like, and if it comes in, it's just going to get taken away. Anything good gets taken away. When I went in, and you have to go deep, like he was saying earlier, I went, okay, what's the part of me that feels like if I just allow in 101, just $1,000 more, 101,000, that doesn't feel safe. In the image that came to head, it was a little 6-month-old baby that was trying to sleep. And it just, I was like, well, what's going on? Like little 6-month-old Kelly. And it gave me the image. It went, mom always comes and wakes us up. Always, are you there for me? Are you there for me? And my mom always told me I had babies because I wanted someone to be there for me. So because she was anxious, it was like, even when you're sleeping, are you there for me? And guys, it doesn't matter if it's a real memory or not. That vibe was still active in my brain. So I looked at little 6-month-old Kelly. I felt the emotion with her and let it release and went, let go of that terror. You don't live with mom anymore. I'm now your mom. I'm adult Kelly, and we live in a different state. We live in our own home, and I'm taking you out of this place where you can't sleep, and I'm putting you over here. And like, so my money's skyrocketed.
Yeah, that's fascinating because I think that's been one of my big struggles along the way because obviously I experienced a lot of childhood trauma. My sister and I were taken away from my parents, and I was raised by my grandparents. And I've seen all the court documents. I've heard all the stories of all these horrible things we went through. And I've even had some psychics tell me that there was some not so good stuff that happened to us but I don't remember any of it. I don't remember any of it. like nothing. So healing that childhood trauma, I don't know, like maybe if that was part of the soul plan, that I was supposed to experience that trauma, and that put me on a certain path. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, but whenever I try to really dig down in there and heal the child inside of me, I'm having a hard time because I don't remember any of it, you know?
Okay, this is a good point. So I got two answers for this. Ooh, inner child and healing childhood trauma is definitely a very like vital thing to do if you want a completely different experience in life. If you just want the damn thing, right? So, because what you just said was essentially, I've healed a lot of my trauma, but not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a lot of success right now.
Yeah.
And that's because it's in his subconscious, right? Meaning it's not active, he's not aware of it. So that means it's not, if you can focus enough on, here's zero. Here's the trauma in his life, keeping money away. Can you put your arm here?
Mm-hmm.
Put your arm here. I need both my hands. So this is like zero trauma. This is his trauma. If you can bring your focus up enough around money that it's good enough, you're going to get the money in. So that's kind of where he's at right now, right? If he goes and drops the trauma, then there's going to be more room for more money. But hear that you can still manifest when you had trauma if you're able to refocus on what you want stronger than the momentum built up from the trauma. Okay, so you guys can still do it. The other thing is that what if you can't remember it? That's the point of you got to take the time to either do a self-guided inner child meditation or hire practitioners. Some of that 6-month-old one, I've got guys, I'm an expert at this. I do this for my clients all the time. And I even went, I don't know, this one feels really deep. I want someone else there supporting me. And it was under her. She was the one who kind of guided me through the relaxing your body. So guys, you don't have to do it all alone either. You don't have to do it all alone.
Yeah, yeah. And
But okay, so I stated facts. I don't know if I answered your question though.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think mainly because, like I said, I feel like the manifestation journey without the healing journey, well, not only, like I said in the beginning, is it only half the battle, but it could also be destructive.
Yeah.
If you manifest a bunch of money and you still have a bunch of trauma that you haven't healed, that's flirting with disaster, I think, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, because money gives you the ability to do more things, and it could possibly feed whatever demons are still living in there.
Yeah, you have to learn how to make money. Then you have to learn how to hold on to it. And because think about it, guys, if you can make a lot of money, but then you give it away, treat money like a relationship. And like, if you have a friend who keeps giving you gifts and then you go, oh, I gave it to my neighbor, I gave it to my neighbor, you're likely going to stop giving that friend gifts. If you keep giving your money away, you're telling the universe, when I get money, I give it away. Money's not going to want to flow there. Money's not going to want to go play with you. But so you have to learn how to make money. You have to learn how to hold on to money. You have to learn how to prioritize yourself over others.
Yeah, that's a really touchy area where service to self, service to others. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to explain that to people, you know?
If you're doing it from a place of, I have so much abundance, it feels good, I want to give this away, that's good. If you're, oh, I've got money, I need to tithe. No, you're coming from a place of, I need to do this in order to be a good girl to get money back. It more depends around, like, yeah, the emotion behind it.
Yeah, and the intention. Again, another course that I had to take in mind mastery called The Science of Intention. People, it still boggles my mind that people like grossly underestimate intention and how important your intentions are, you know? And people are always trying to judge other people's intentions. And there's so many people out there who literally make every decision in their life based on other people's perception of their intentions. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like, I'm gonna do this because I'm afraid you're gonna think that my intentions are that. No, I don't give a shit what you think my intentions are. You can think in one hand and shit in the other. I know what my intentions are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like people are going to view you three ways. They're either going to view you, like if you get money and they don't have money, they're either going to view you as, how do I forgot how to explain this. They're either going to view you as a source of inspiration, as hey, he shared his story. Like, I'm homeless. Okay, if Rich somehow did it, that means it's somehow possible for me. Or they're gonna go, he's the system holding us down. Like, if you're looking at like Elon Musk and going, he's a bad guy, he should be like fixing Earth, not trying to get to space. You're not in the vibe of money.
Yeah.
You're not in the vibe of choice, right? Because if he should be able to choose what he wants to do with his money, you got to be in the vibe of like choice and recognize that like he's not hoarding money. I promise I'll shut up soon. Here's another thing for you guys. Money's not a real thing. When countries want more money, what do? They're willing to take on more debt.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to just print more money. They're willing to go, okay, the US is carrying like $1 trillion in debt right now. So guys, if the fucking US government is willing to like carry debt just to make more money, you can allow yourself to, all right, I'm okay receiving money. Like, and that was one thing that stopped me in my coaching business for a while. Because I was like, oh no, I have enough success. If I get another client, I'm taken away from other coaches and they won't be able to eat. And it's like,
yeah.
no, I was essentially just not helping people who wanted to be helped from me.
Yeah, I mean, like what we were talking about earlier, and I told this to a client. Like most tarot card readers want to turn you into an ATM machine. Keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. What I'm trying to do when you come to me, or you just listen to this video, or whatever the case may be, I want to send you on your way with some tools that you can use. And if you choose to apply them, it'll give you the ability to spread your own wings and fly. And if you don't want to, you never have to come back to me or anybody else for guidance ever again. There are so many people on this planet that I could take 1/4 of the population of the planet and have every one of those people only come to me for one reading, and I could support myself for the rest of my life. You know?
Yeah.
So you have to, like, people don't understand how many people are on this planet and how much money is on this planet. Literally, if you took all of the money and distributed it evenly for every human being on this planet, they would be a multi-millionaire, if not more. You know? So that's a limiting belief that you got to figure out some kind of way to get rid of that, you know?
It's up to every individual. That's the self-concept of they.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not going too deep into politics, but like one reason why I'm like, no, I don't necessarily think you should take all the money away from billionaires and just redistribute it. Because if you give money to someone who doesn't know how to hold on to it,
I know. I was just
someone who hasn't worked with their demons,
Yeah.
they're gonna get the money and they go spend on alcohol and it's gone, and then they're poor again the next month.
Yep. Yeah. That's why they say if like that was just an example just to prove a point, but they do say that if you took all the money and distributed it evenly, within 5 years it would all end up back in the same hands. Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
That's you got to go on that rewiring journey to like feel worthy of having money, feel worthy of having the choice, feel worthy of that way. I didn't mean to disprove you or anything. I thought I was going along with what you said.
Well, no.
Okay.
I just because that is very true. That was just kind of a little side point. But yeah, and I think another thing that holds people back, because really all it is other people's perception of you. I think a lot of people, because they know that there are a lot of people in the broke mentality who get mad, get pissed off, and they're afraid of people just like them attacking them. You know, I'm afraid that if I make a bunch of money, everybody's going to hate me and think that I'm a bad person. Well, sorry, you just got to fucking deal with that. Because that's how people in the broke mentality function and operate. And I used to do the same thing. I said that in a video the other day where me and my loser friends back in the day used to just sit around and bitch and hate on successful people, you know?
Yeah.
And at the time in my loser failure brain, I really thought I was making these people look bad. Until I sat and asked myself one day, wait a minute, what do I actually think I'm going to accomplish? Do I think that millionaire on the other end of town is going to sit there and say, oh, man, that broke guy, that broke loser is making me rethink my whole life. Oh, I just need to quit because this broke loser is making me rethink my whole life and made me realize that I'm a bad person. Is that what I think is going to happen? If that's what I think is going to happen, I'm a pathetic loser and an idiot. And that's when I was like, oh, wow, I sound fucking pathetic. I think I'm going to stop this, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's good self-awareness. Willing to like just be real and honest and like, oh, this is where my mindset is right now. And like you're either going to focus on what you get, what you focus on, whether you want that or not. If you're going to focus on my boss is taking money away from me, he's being greedy, going on those vacations every month when I don't make enough to pay me. No, you're putting the responsibility on the other person to value you, right? Because there's administrative assistants. When I lived back in San Francisco, when I felt worthless, I was making like 40,000. In San Francisco, that's fucking nothing, guys. That's dirt broke out there. And then I went through this goes back to like money's not real. It's all in how the person perceives it and values it. There's some people who go, no, you're just pushing paperwork around. That's not worth money. And I was like, okay. And then when I went through and willing to, but I'm a different administrative assistant than someone else. I always make sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, all blah, 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 blah. And I went, I want to be a match for the person who really values all these skill sets I have. Then I think I went like literally overnight, 15,000 more. I did that job for like 6 months and then I got another 10,000 on top of that. So it's, what do you want? How do you want to feel? And then focus on the person who values that, not on, but what if they don't pay me? What if they don't? No, no, no. This is what I value, and I'm a match for the person who wants this. Is he going to focus on the people? And me, this one goes for me too, actually. I was in Tennessee. It's the Bible Belt. They were like calling me the devil worker. They're like, oh my God, honey, can I take you to church on Sunday?
Yeah.
Where's your family? I had a choice right then to go believe what they thought about me, or it was, okay, well, they're not my people. I want the people who love the way I explain tarot. Which one are you guys going to focus on?
Yeah, that's I mean, I think the majority of that's the whole manifestation journey is redirecting your focus. And I don't know, what helped me understand it more than anything is when I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza say that with forced thought control, you rewrite your brain. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because I had a lot of mental health issues. I've been in and out of every psychiatrist, psychologist office, been put on every medication known to man, suicide attempts. We are programmed to believe that we are victims of our own brain. And if I have depression, I have this mental illness that you can't cure. And here I'm hearing a doctor say that no, you can rewrite your own brain by habitually forcing new thoughts. Because they did this experiment where they took two groups of people, Group A and Group B. Everybody in both groups got a brain scan just to see, what was going on with their brains. Group A, they had these people sit down at a piano and practice a little melody, like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, something like that, for like 8 weeks. At the end of the 8-week period, they gave them another brain scan and they could see the new connections that were wired in their brains from sitting down and practicing the melody. And Group B never touched a piano. They had Group B sit down and run through a series of mental exercises and think about practicing the exact same melody.
Okay.
And at the end of the 8 weeks, the people in Group B had the exact same new connections formed in their brains as the people who actually touched a piano, proving you can rewrite your own brain with thought control. Because that operating system that governs any habit you have, anything that you do that's habit, that operating system is the same operating system that runs your train of thought.
Yeah.
So it's all run by the same thing. So if I say want to get into a fitness routine and I have to keep working out and working out and working out until it rewrites itself into my brain and becomes a habit, I have to do the same thing with my thoughts and my beliefs,
Yeah. Your thoughts create your belief system. Your belief system is what creates your reality. But a thought is something that you're conscious of, that you're thinking. By the time you've thought it enough, it just becomes a belief system. So that means you're just like, that's just the way the world works. The rich take money from the poor. That's a belief system. And so I'm going to tie in what he just said with childhood trauma, what we're kind of just like talking about now, and healing and all of that. All that happens is your parents are your vehicle and your vessel onto this planet. Do not put any more power into them than that, guys. It is not your parents' fault why you don't have the success you want right now. Had you been born with different parents, would the journey would you have started ahead? Would it have been easier? Would it have been better feeling? Yes. But bottom line is when you're younger, you hear the thoughts your parents are thinking, you feel the vibes that they're thinking. And when you're a kid, what you do is you essentially attune. It's called attunement. You guys can Google it up. Google it up. It's a psychology word, but you attune to others. And so you're tuning to your launch pad, your two people who are the vehicle vessel, or if you went to orphanage or whatever, you're tuning to those people and you're hearing their thoughts. Like my dad would always say, he who had the golden rule about money, he who has the gold, like, makes all the rules. If he says jump, you say jump hell high. So when I graduated like college, and I went to UC Berkeley, guys, it's the #1 public university. I still went, oh, but I'm only worth 40,000. I went, and like my boss was like, oh, I need this done. I'm like, I'll do it this weekend. The man with the rule, with the golden money, he said something, and I would do it. And I was just working myself to death, being a slave to the person. And then I went, wait, that's just a thought that my parents, and they carry a lot of influence over you before you're 7.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're an adult, it just means just recognize that all it is there's a thought that you've been thinking for a very long time. It has momentum. Are you going to take the time to start building the new thought? And Rich, I didn't even know all of your story until right now. You got an impressive story there. Are you going to take the time to go, oh, well, my parents did XYZ to me, I can't have it. You're reinforcing the negative one. Or are you going to take the time to, maybe there's a way for me to earn money. Maybe there's got to be a way. I could figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to take action, universe. What would you have me do to start earning more money? I'm worthy of receiving money. Maybe I receive more. And now you have this thought that's bigger than this one. That becomes your new default.
Yeah.
Your new default belief system. Your new default expectation for what to get.
Yeah, and that reminds me of when my path very first began. I spent my whole life angry and resentful at my parents. Like my whole life, my biological parents, Oh, they should have taken care of me. They didn't do a good enough job and this and that. They're just worthless and loopy-whoopty-woo. And then that day that I laid down under that bridge on my couch cushion, I went, holy shit, I get it. I get it. I'm just like them. I'm a deadbeat daddy.
Oh, fuck.
So that's when I had this awakening and all of my resentment went away. I'm like, shit, I'm no fucking better than them. I'm no better than them. And at the time, my biological father was homeless too. We lived under the same bridge together, And I was like, damn, I get it now. And that all my resentment washed away at that point, And then it wasn't long after that I turned myself into a homeless shelter and I accidentally found a law of attraction video on YouTube,
Really?
Yeah. And that's what started my path.
Do you guys hear his story though? Do you hear? It's everything that we've been talking about. He was under the same bridge with his dad. That's how he was getting his like love and everyone needs love and connection. Are you going to be willing to? No, I want a different reality. I'm going to think different thoughts. At some point, it has to be. I'm going to stop living under the bridge. Dad, what do you want? You have to be okay if Dad chooses to. No, this is the way life works. Are you gonna? Well, I want love and connection with him and live there with him. Or are you gonna go? You know what? I do want the house. I do want this. So he had to go through reshuffling of the friendship circle. He had to go through reshuffling of like the rewiring. I just want to always break it down even more for everybody. The rewiring isn't like, it's got to be, okay, well, I'm going to love and connect in a different way other than, sharing maybe a fire under the bridge with someone. I'm going to do it with a meal over a table, like step by step. That whole just creating a different expectation for yourself.
Wow. Yeah, you explain it in such a different way than me that, I like that. I like different ways because we're all different, Like I personally, on my journey, would listen to everything that everybody said and I would think, man, you know what? Not one person is explaining it in a way that I fully understand. So I was like, I'm going to figure this shit out. And one day, if I'm ever in the position to teach and guide people, I'm going to explain it the way I needed to hear it,
Yeah.
So everybody's different. That's why I think like your approach to explaining it is vastly different from mine, but I guarantee you there's one person that can probably relate to what you're saying better than me.
Yeah,
they might hear me and it be like I'm speaking Chinese. And then when you explain it, they're like, that makes sense,
Yeah.
It's like everybody's a piece of a different puzzle.
Yeah, and like I'm curious what you'll say about this for you, but yeah, you mentioned you've hired coaches. I know all about law of attraction. I can channel spirit guides, and I still will hire coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I still bought Amanda Francis's course. I was like, okay, I know how to manifest money, but that woman is somehow manifesting $1 million a month. And I was like, and I watched her video. I was like, oh, that's a genius way to do it. I think I'll share one little extras I got from her. She had a whole module on like shining appreciation for money. And that's where she just said, one thing I love to do is I always went through all my expenses and I would think about what good thing did that bring to my life, and then I would journal on it. Like, thank you so much for like letting me buy here's an example for me. I walked this morning to the grocery store and I went, like, universe, thank you so much for having the money that I could fly to Vegas, like hang out with my friends. I appreciate that the money for the airfare, the gas to get there, the money to pay for the extra, like the carry-on. I didn't know you had fees for carry-on now, but I was like,
Oh,
I appreciate having the $70 to do that. I
yeah.
appreciate being able to buy the hot sauce because I wanted to come and bring them something new. And I appreciate that I was able to buy like the meat and the tomatillos, and that like this money is allowing me. So it's, you see how it's not about the money. It's, I enjoy spending my money on food to like help people bond. So if you guys can go, what would I do with the money? And then I focus on the feeling of, I do like friendship. I do like companionship. I started with like making like friends who were a little more local, right? So I don't have to pay airfare to go visit them. I'd be like, okay, well, I can make like a dip and bring over carrots. And then I was like, Kelly, this dip is really good. Then it was, I call it basking. I'm a little bit more Abraham Hicks trained in my terminology. That basking just means where you hold the vibration and go, I loved having that dip to take over. I love that my friends got to appreciate it. I loved feeling appreciated. It was so good that we all got to go through that same experience together, experiential intimacy. I love that. And so, of course, next time I want to bring even more food over, more food. And now I'm at a point where I can buy airfare. I can go to a different state. I can then go, no, I still want to make you guys dinner, and like buy the meat and buy the salsa so I can make it. Like, I hope that helps. I hope this is helping.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
break it
yeah.
down for
Like
people more.
I'm one of those people that I'm just one person. I don't think I'm the end all be all. I know there are a lot of people who hear what I say, and I'm getting the testimonials. I got them all the time. Like people, like this one time, somebody wrote me and said, I started listening to you a year ago, and I was living in my car. Just yesterday, I signed the deed. I own my own home now.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, but I'm only one person. Not every single person is gonna understand the way that I explain it.
Yeah.
I'm just one little piece to the puzzle. That's why, I think that every different little perspective, because my goal, I want to see humans awaken and create their future. I know that's not what every being came here to experience. There's lots of beings that came here to experience, being at rock bottom and going through struggles and whatnot. But I know there's a lot of beings that didn't come here to experience that, but they got caught up in the matrix and trapped and they don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
for those people, that's who I'm here for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that, view life like the Matrix, guys. This might be getting a little too spiritual, but if you do I know for me, when I took a step back and went, wait, life is like the Matrix. We're up here in like spirit land source. We look down and like we do choose to come down, right? You made the choice to come in at this point in time. It doesn't mean that you knew it was going to be complete happy, happy, joy, joy, because there's still just the mass consciousness and mass consciousness just means the collective momentum default belief system. One example is in Tennessee, where I live. There is a huge mass consciousness in that area of like, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. So are you going to be I call it default creator, which that's
Yeah.
just where
Yeah.
where you just like, you feel the energy around you and you just by default create what other people think is okay
I
too.
call it default timelines when I'm reading tarot. It's the same thing. Same
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
You got to be a deliberate one, and went, okay, like, no. And I went, no, I do not like having to live month to month. I do not like this. If that's the energy of Chattanooga, I recognize that that is their energy. They can have it back. I'm okay if I'm part of like the 1% that climbs out of it. Cause I do like going to the vegan. I'm not vegan, but I love going to the vegan shop and getting their smoothies, getting the green juices. Like, so a lot of it is about getting comfortable with like, I do want to be that person buying a $10-15 green juice. When I go there, it does make me happy. And me enjoying that is not taking away money from someone else's rent.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
me employing people. That's me going and employing those business owners, the people there. So it's thank you, money, for letting me buy this green juice that I love, that it gives me this feel good. So milk it, guys. Milk all the good emotions you can around it. I'm getting passionate.
Yeah.
Milk all the emotions around it, and then go, and I love that this money helped pay that person's paycheck. I love that it helped keep these business owners, let them know that they're on the right path. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta get passionate about it, dude. But before we wrap it up, we're coming up on almost an hour. Do we want to promote? You can subscribe to her channel. It's just Kelly Lunt. And
what would be the best thing?
yeah, and you can book a call with her as well. How do we go about doing that? I think
I
Leah.
did not come prepared. Oh, is Leah here?
Leah, yeah, she sent it. She put a link in the live chat here. So if anybody's catching the playback of this and you want to look at the live chat, there's a link in there where you can book a call with her. And at some point, we are going to be co-coaching.
Oh, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, so that link really quick, if you go on there, it's an application only for, I call them breakthrough strategies. That's where if there's something that you want and you want to get there, and you just need some guidance, someone to guide you through it, we'll hop on a call. That call is free. If I think I can help you, we're going to hop on that phone call and I'm going to come down the strategy, figure out the top 3 things you need. And then if I can help you, I'm going to recommend, here's the different ways it can work. And apparently we are going to do it, which I'm excited about. I might just roll you into the program with him and me. So that call is just to help figure out if coaching's right for you and if we are the right coach for you. And we'll get, oh, there's Leah. Hey, Leah.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
Yeah, so that call's free, but then after that, we'll figure out what's best for you. The Law of Attraction course I built, which that's probably something we're going to co-coach on. I don't know. I'll shut up now. I think it makes enough sense.
No, it's totally cool, but yeah, I'm just the type of person that I don't really like to go too much over an hour. So I think we pretty much covered everything that we needed to cover. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in and playing along. You all enjoy the rest of your day.